If you knew that some of the foods you selected at the grocery store was banned in other countries because of certain ingredients, would you still buy them for your family? Surprisingly, this list is pretty long. It includes products that are popular in US households. Ritz crackers, Gatorade, Wheat Thins, Frosted Flakes, and Coffee Mate Creamer are just some of the items banned in other countries because of some ingredients they contain. Here on The Matter of Facts, we will look at non-hazardous food additives that are banned in the European Union, Canada, and Brazil, but completely legal in the US. Hey guys, before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Potassium Bromate. This chemical compound is commonly found in bread in the US. It is used as an oxidizing agent, added to the dough to make it springier, stronger, and promote rising. But it has also been shown to cause nose, throat, and lung irritation, as well as causing coughing, wheezing, and a shortness of breath. Potassium bromate has been banned from human consumption in Europe, China, and India because it is a suspected carcinogen. In lab tests, the compound KBRO3 caused renal and thyroid tumors to form in rats. According to the Environmental Working Group, which keeps tabs on food additives, more than 130 products on store shelves contain KBRO3, including a wide range of bread and dough. Titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide, also referred to as E171, has been banned from being added to foods across Europe, but is still widely used in the US as a whitening agent for candies and pastries. Skittles, Starburst, and other candies all contain this chemical compound. The FDA maintains concentrations of the substance in US foods are safe, though the American Chemistry Council, an industry body representing US chemical companies, said a more thorough probe needs to be carried out. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified it as Group 2B carcinogen that could potentially pose a threat to humans when inhaled. Brominated vegetable oil. BVO, a type of vegetable with bromine in it, often shows up in diet and citrus soda to stop ingredients in fruit flavor soft drinks from separating. It can be found in soft drinks, including Sundrop, and some generic sodas. The substance is banned in Japan, India, and the European Union. The bulk of health concerns surrounding the additive stems from the presence of bromine. While it's not designated as a carcinogen, inhaling bromine can irritate the nose, throat, and lungs, as well as the mucous membrane that lines the inside of the mouth, throat, stomach, and lungs. Exposure to the chemical in the long term can cause neurological issues such as memory loss, impaired balance, and coordination, as well as headaches. The FDA designated BVO as generally safe, provided it is used in concentrations of under 15 parts per million. The makers of Sundrop maintain that the chemical additive in their soda is at a safe enough concentration. Azodicarbonide. In the US, azodicarbonide is allowed to be added to flour at levels up to 45 parts per million as a flour bleaching and dough strengthening agent. Its use can be banned in Europe and Australia because it can break down into a carcinogenic substance. When the substance breaks down in dough, it forms a substance called semicarbazide and urethane. The latter has been labeled a possible carcinogen in humans by the National Institute of Health. Meanwhile, SEM has been shown to increase the incidence of tumors when fed to female mice. Fast food retailers such as McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and White Castles have slowly phased the ingredients out of their products, though they can still be found in Arby's croissants. Propyl paraben. Parabens are commonly found in cosmetics and personal care items, as well as certain foods as a preservative. Parabens have been shown to disrupt the function of the endocrine system and can have a deleterious effect on fertility. The FDA has labeled this compound as generally safe to be used as an antimicrobial preservative in foods. In 2006, it was banned by the European Food Safety Authority from being added to food, and while it has not been shown to cause cancer, it could potentially disrupt fertility and the endocrine functioning. A 2000 study out of Japan found that the concentration of the substance permitted by the FDA reduced sperm counts in young rats. The Environmental Work Group lists several foods as containing the chemical, including Edam's Coconut Crunch Donuts and the Central Everyday Classic Trail Mix. Yellow 6, Yellow 5, Red 40 food dyes. Food coloring is exceedingly common in foods, despite the mixed evidence that the substances are safe. The colors are not banned outright in the EU, nor are they banned in the US. But unlike the US, European authorities must include a warning label that details the risks associated with the dyes. They have been theorized to exacerbate attentional problems in children, leading the EU regulators to mandate that the product makers say dyes could cause an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. Red 40 as well as yellow 5 and 6 contains benzidine, a human and animal carcinogen permitted in low, presumably safe levels in dyes. According to the FDA, ingestion of free benzidine raises the cancer risk to just under the concern threshold, or one cancer in 1 million people. Shoppers can find red 40 in cake icing, while those who love Twinkies will take in a dose of yellow 5. Yellow 6, meanwhile, can be found in sugary breakfast cereals, including Lucky Charms and Captain Crunch. Poultry and chlorine. While not necessarily an additive in food, but a rather cleaning agent, poultry and chlorine refers to chicken that's been treated with an antimicrobial chlorine rinse to eliminate harmful bacteria. The practice is commonplace in the US, which uses it to manage pathogens like salmonella and to protect consumers from getting sick. The EU, though, has had a ban on chlorine rinse since 1997 over food safety concerns. Authorities there have maintained that the EU agribusiness standards are more stringent than in the US, which they argue has more of a lenient food safety standards. US authorities say chlorine washing chicken eliminates risk of infection, but the EU authorities posit that it means to make up for poor sanitation and infection control along the production route and is a symptom of overall lax food safety standards in the US. Antibiotics in animals. While not necessarily an additive to food, a huge share of livestock in the US that becomes food is treated with antibiotics. Nearly 2/3 of medically important antibiotics are used in industrial agriculture, primarily in cattle to mitigate the effects of keeping them in overcrowded, unhygienic, poor ventilated conditions. Previously, farmers administered a steady dose of antibiotics to animals to bulk them up. Small doses of antibiotics administered daily would make most animals gain as much as 3% more weight than they otherwise would. The practice of administering antibiotics to animals to increase their size, though, is no longer permitted. Microbiologists have said that if a group of animals is treated with a certain antibiotic over time, the bacteria living in those animals will become resistant to that drug. There is a fear that if a person ingests a resistant bacteria through improperly cooked meat and gets sick, they may not respond to the antibiotics. The overuse of antibiotics in otherwise healthy farm animals, a practice that has been banned in the EU, raised the threat of new antibiotic-resistant superbugs that can spread from animals to humans. Over and misuse of antibiotics paves the way for infection to mutate and replicate, becoming able to resist the drugs needed to treat life-threatening illnesses. rBST, rBGH. rBST, or bovine somatotrophin, is a growth hormone given to dairy cattle by injection to increase milk production. The practice is banned in Canada. The chemical, also known as rBGH, or bovine somatotrophin, is a synthetic version of the hormone that cows produce to regulate certain metabolic processes. For years, it has been administered to dairy cows to increase milk production, but it has not been permitted in Europe since the 1990s. Research into synthetic hormones linked to breast cancer has produced mixed results. The use of rBST increases levels of insulin-like growth factors, a protein naturally found in milk. Some studies have suggested a link between elevated levels of IGF-1 and the growth of prostate, breast, and colorectal cancers. Hey guys, we come to the end of the video. Were you surprised like I was surprised of the amount of food additives that are banned in other countries and legal in the US? If so, let me know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until then, we'll see you next time.